like I should feel like I should feel like I should feel like I should go. Go. Feel like I should go. Feel like I should feel like I should feel like I should feel like I should go.
In previous episode, we saw Suho, a seemingly low-ranked E-class hunter, shocks everyone when he reveals he can summon multiple goblins and even resurrect demonic creatures using shadow extraction. In a dungeon raid gone wrong, Suho protects his comrades and defeats powerful monsters, including demonic dogs and a deadly red hunter possessed by an ancient sword. Suho learns to master shadow soldiers, gains powerful new skills like Storm Strike, and earns respect from allies and enemies alike. Despite his power, he shows mercy, choosing not to resurrect fallen humans as shadow soldiers. With his father's legacy and Earth's future at stake, Suho begins forming alliances, even with enemies, determined to protect the planet from the looming Ataram invasion. Meanwhile, the world starts to take notice of the mysterious E-rank hunter who saved the day. A guy asked if Hunter Suho had replied to their letter, because the newcomer had already managed to get an invitation from the Black Turtles Guild, and he must be happy. But the other guy turned around and told the leader that he had declined the offer, causing the leader to pause. He couldn't understand. Why? After all, this guy is just a rank E rookie, and he's turning down such a big guild? I don't understand. What's the point? The leader said. The other guy replied, that Hunter Suho didn't want to join any guilds. The leader was angry with this kind of answer. He couldn't understand. Did this guy think he was some kind of S-rank hunter? This isn't the end yet. We're sure that Suho himself will contact us soon. Sooner or later, he'll realize how difficult it is for a hunter without a guild. Suho, while in his apartment, began to look at the notifications that came on his phone. He realized that ever since he visited that dungeon, he had no shortage of guild invitations. A lot of people wanted to get their hands on him, specifically, but everyone wanted to hire him as a port or gatherer. He couldn't understand why there were so many. He figured it would be a hindrance to him, and an even bigger hindrance to leveling up with the system. There was no point in joining them right now. He didn't care what the guild wanted to do or who they wanted to get. He had better things to do. Turning to his sword, he began to ask Fang Raken if he wanted to continue the conversation, the one they had started in the dungeon, when he suggested combining the powers of Shadow and Fang. Fang Raken couldn't understand how he could calmly utter such nonsense. Are you saying that a Shadow can become an ally instead of an enemy? Only under one condition, if you bring me to the Fang Lord's other holy land. At this moment, Suho started to ask if he knew how to get there, to which Fang replied that he did know where all of the Fang Lord's holy lands were located, regardless of the distance. But he felt that the gate leading there had already disappeared, and what people call a dungeon breakthrough had most likely happened. Suho immediately realized that this holy place must be an open dungeon. An open dungeon is where creepy and very strong monsters dwell. When a dungeon breach forms in the abandoned gate, the monsters take over, the land turning into a wasteland. At this moment, Suho, holding his phone in his hand, sent a message to his uncle that he would be gone for a while and not to worry even if he couldn't contact him. Right now, he needed to move out to seize even more power and raise his level as quickly as possible. A little later, Suho started to ask Baru if they had arrived at that place, to which he replied that it was correct. But at the parking lot, they noticed that it was forbidden to enter, and things were not good right now since the guild owned the place. Suho immediately realized that the entrance was restricted, and that the Hyena Guild was made up of people who used to be gangsters. So they were all scary. Baru started to say that he shouldn't listen to these lowly creatures, because the young lord had better raise his level. While Fang was arguing with Baru, Suho got angry and asked them what they were doing there. Right now, I'm ready to go inside, and I'll use my power to do so. He started breaking the cameras with his power. Baru asked him, what about the guild? To which Suho replied that he had his own way out. As soon as he broke the last camera, it completely disintegrated into small pieces. Suho decided that if they did that, they wouldn't have any evidence. Baru added that his methods reminded him of the Overlord. Once inside, Suho couldn't understand why there was a blue mist in all the open dungeons. Baru began to explain that it was mana from outer space. It gathers through the dimension walls, causing a gap in the worlds. Because of this, the fog from the Holy Land where it was broke through the dimension and came to Earth. The creatures from the outside world are trying to punch a huge hole in the dimension to send their armies here. The more mana a creature has, the more it is affected by traveling through the dimension. Suho realized that the strongest ones would not be here yet. He should hurry up and raise his level before other hunters came here. At this moment, raising his head, he saw huge monsters in the trees. One of them was a razor claw Briga, and the other was a black shadow Ramen. The Fang immediately started telling Suho that now was the time for him to show his strength, to which Suho replied that he could rely on him, but wouldn't use him as his main weapon. causing Fang to be perplexed. Suho made a decision, after much deliberation, that it was time for him to fight the way he wanted to. He would use his fists, like he did in training, as a base for mid-range combat. The ruler's strength would be the support. To avoid being predictable, he would use different weapons. Using extraction, he would get more equipment to improve his skills and characteristics, leveling up on his own. Baru was absolutely thrilled with what he heard from his young overlord. Fang also realized that this was the power of the Shadow Lord's bloodline. The more enemies and the longer the battle dragged on, the stronger he became, using the demons and monsters he destroyed. At this moment, Suho decided that now that his intelligence scores were higher, he could summon 5 shadows. But Baru said that it was insignificant compared to a great lord who could summon thousands. Suho blushed and ordered him to shut up. Going even further into the depths of the forest, Suho saw that they had come to the very place Fang was talking about. Fang began to say that there was a gate leading to the Holy Lands here, but now they were seeing some kind of strange warehouse. Suho noticed that even though it was late, there were still people here. He wondered if there was a special reason for them to stay late. After all, hunting monsters was better during the day. At that moment, a car pulled up to the workers and hunters. Those who were inside the car began to bring out people who were tied up by their arms and legs. Suho immediately realized that he was witnessing a kidnapping being performed right in front of his eyes. Baru supported him, saying that it looked exactly like what they were seeing. Baru began to address the young lord, saying that they were here illegally, so they shouldn't interfere. If they realized he had trespassed into their territory, his hunters would have reason to attack. But as soon as Baru finished speaking and turned around, he saw that Suho had disappeared. He couldn't understand where he had gone. Was he really going to go to those people? Suho, who grew up in the arms of a police officer father who specialized in violent crimes and a legendary firefighter grandfather, couldn't stay away. He grew up with a sense of justice, and in this moment, he couldn't stand idly by. Suho accelerated at full speed and began to approach the first hunter that was in his way. He had a deep habit of acting first and thinking later when it came to justice. At the same moment, Suho accelerated with all his might and hit that guy with his shoe. The shadows who were watching were completely shocked by what they had just seen. The other hunters, seeing that their comrade had just been kicked in the head, were also shocked. After the kick, that guy's face had slammed right into the ground, and the guys only saw a silhouette flying by, which was Suho. They couldn't understand who that guy was. But Suho realized everything that was happening at that moment, because he realized that his body reacted faster than his brain. He realized that he had invaded another guild's territory illegally, and now didn't know what to do. Putting on his shadow mask, he turned around and began to ask, "Are you really kidnapping people? What is your guild hyena doing?" The other hunters began to ask back, questioning what he was doing, invading other people's territory and attacking them out of the blue. "It looks like you came here for us to destroy you." At the same moment, the other hunters started using their magic and enhanced equipment to deal with Suho. One of the hunters started attacking Suho, who successfully dodged all of his attacks. As he swung, Suho thought about what he had learned earlier. The average rank of the Hyena Guild members was D. He definitely didn't know their strength, so he shouldn't relax. Taking a swing, he hit one of the hunters with all his might, who flew away at an incredible speed. The other hunters, noticing the silhouette of their comrade flying away, couldn't understand what had just happened. Following this, Suho began to eliminate, one by one, the hunters who were approaching him from all directions. Baru, who was watching the battle, could not believe that the Awakened Ones, who had reached the D rank by human standards, were no longer competitors for Suho. Right now, the status window indicated that Suho possessed level 16. A little later, Suho decided to tie up all the hunters so that they wouldn't be able to leave the area while he went about his business. Baru beside him began to say that it was a graceful completion. Suho began to untie all the guys who had been kidnapped by the guild. They began to thank him for saving them. They also asked if he was from the Hunter Association. He replied that they could assume that he was. He said he would handle things here, and they should quickly evacuate to safety. Once the guys got into the car and drove away, Suho couldn't understand why the guild was kidnapping people. At this moment, Fang started telling Suho that he was feeling something. Suho asked him, "Feel what?" Fang replied that that was why he asked him to come here. As soon as they reached the fence, they started to go inside the room. What Suho saw shocked him. He couldn't believe his own eyes. There were many cages inside the room. Baru also added that there was a sense of energy in the room, although it was very vague. Suho turned his head and saw a locked dog in the nearest cages, but he couldn't understand why the Hyena Guild was doing this. Fong added that it seemed to him that it wasn't a dog, but a small wolf, the descendant of the king of beasts, Monarch Fang. Fang said this. Suho couldn't believe his own ears. Fang went on to say that right after his defeat in the war with the Shadow Monarch, Monarch Fang had ordered the survivor descendant to be hidden in the shrine and guarded, because he believed that if the blood ties were not broken, another Monarch Fang would appear. He honestly admitted he didn't expect to find a Fang Monarch in this place. At this moment, Suho broke the shackles restraining the little wolf cub Lifting him gently into his arms, he listened as the story finished, about how the monarch hoped that his clan would not be interrupted. He seemed to vaguely sense the Fang monarch's aura, but he had lost a lot of energy. He will die if left like this, Fang said. Baru asked the young monarch what he would do. Suho, after briefly thinking, replied, he thought there were only a few people there, but here was another one. Now, he was angry, realizing there was one last one left that he should destroy. Turning his head, he saw a demonic creature. It began to speak to Suho, telling him that trusting people was useless. The creature, calling himself Brocky, said that he had survived. Suho immediately asked, did they know each other? Fang replied, I know him. This is the hunter of the descendant I told you about. Brocky immediately began telling Fang it had been a long time, that Rakan Fang was also alive, as he could see. Fang Rakan. Immediately, Fang Rin began to speak. He hadn't forgotten. He had been sent to guard the descendant. What were you doing all this time? While that little wolf cub was in shackles, Fang asked. Suho, holding the cub in his arms, didn't even notice when Brocky suddenly rushed toward him, with incredible speed. How dare you touch my property? Brocky lashed out, with his tail. The blow struck Suho hard, launching him sideways, crashing through the wall, and slamming into containers outside. Baru noticed and screamed, is my monarch all right? He flew over instantly, asking if his little monarch was okay. Suho groaned, that's the most painful blow I've taken in a while. I'm bleeding. Don't scream. My head's splitting from all the sudden noise. Baru, hearing this, said, when I first came here, I felt a faint remaining energy. I was sure of what it was. He said. I felt Im's energy. From this guy. Fang and Brocky turned to Baru. Baru stared Brocky down. Do you even understand what you've done to the Overlord's descendant? Brocky interrupted. He began explaining. He knew how one, who had lost his sanctuary, could still maintain such strength. According to natural selection, the strong survive. The survival of the weak determined by the whims of the strong. The weak become food for the strong. It's a law of nature, Brocky admitted. Although the cub was weak, he belonged to the Fang monarch's bloodline. He was the best source of nourishment. That's why I feed on it. That's how I gain my current strength. Periodically, he drew energy from the little cub to sustain and grow stronger. After that twisted confession, Brocky vowed, once he was done here, he would destroy Fang. But at that moment, Suho raised his hand. Death is proof of weakness, he said, but Brocky interrupted. Your body is fit for the strong, just like the next Fang monarch will be. Suddenly, Suho attacked. His sword cut through the air with strength. Baru grabbed the little wolf cub and swiftly carried it away from the battlefield. The sword returned to Suho's hands. Once he saw the wolf cub was safe, he turned to Fang. I thought you were angry with me, but it's all right. I've got a case with that guy too. Right now, it'll be the first clash between Fang and Shadow. Right now, I finally found a lead, leading to my father. Suddenly, the notification system flashed. He had received an assignment, urgent, a hyena hunt. He had to defeat the hyena to ensure safety. That's when Suho realized he'd guessed who the guild was named after. The monster had created a guild by kidnapping people, and it was all connected to Im. The other hunters, once guildmates of Suho, began to shout, Brocky, let us go. He's not that easy to defeat. We'll help fight him. Suho yelled, I won't stand by and watch. But Brocky turned on them, and with one blow destroyed them. He spat, if you think I need help with him, you've forgotten your place. You become prey the moment you forget your place. Suho, watching his comrades fall, fury filled his veins. He rushed forward. As he threw the first punch, Brocky blocked it immediately. Suho growled, did you really kill those people? Just for fun? Brocky sneered. The strong monarch over the weak? You think the strong need a reason to do what they want? Another blow came, but Suho dodged, leaping aside. Flying up into the air, he dove at Brocky using his newly obtained skill, Stormblade. But Brocky smirked. Is this all you've got? You're dishonoring the Fang heirloom. Suddenly, a sword came flying from the side, straight toward Brocky. He was stunned. He hadn't noticed it. Suho, standing tall, waved his hand, controlling the sword. This isn't the end, he said. Fang asked, Brocky, why have you changed so much? You once swore loyalty, honored Rakan, but Brocky only laughed. Why did I honor Rakan? I never respected him. He feared Rakan's power, but when the chance came, he seized it. He would change everything with his own hands. Brocky lunged again, delivering a powerful blow. Suho felt everything break. The pain was unbearable. Bones, maybe shattered. But then he remembered. He remembered his father, fighting somewhere right now. That thought filled him with strength. Strength to stand, strength to fight. Gathering it all, he reinforced his fists with the shadow technique and struck. He wouldn't lose to a pathetic monster like this. Baru, watching, couldn't believe it. His young monarch, so strong at such a young age. Fang Rakan, lying on the ground, remembered the strength from the broken sword. Would it all end like this? The survival of the descendants, the future of the Fang. It was all in Suho's hands, and he still wanted to fight. He was still waiting for this battle. At that moment, the little wolf cub began to rise. It was hard, but he stood, Fang Rakan saw this. Sir Ran's descendant was rising, disregarding pain, inspired by Suho's unwavering spirit. And Fang thought, the last thing I can do is help. I can pass on the remaining power in me to the descendant at this time. Suho continued to fight, and although his opponent was very strong, our hero continued to hold back all of his blows. As soon as he was thrown aside, he began to slowly raise his head and looked at the monster that was slowly approaching him. As he lifted his head, he saw a notification in front of him, and the system was showing that he had hit points left. The monster came closer and closer, and with its terrifying aura, it said, "For a mere worm, you have good stamina." At this moment, it swung around to finally deliver the final blow and destroy Suho. But at this moment, the wolf cub, having gained strength, clawed at the paw of the monster that had just wanted to finish Suho off. Suho couldn't understand what had just happened and where the wolf cub had come from. As soon as the wolf cub completed its attack, he stood up in defense of the young Shadow Monarch. Following that, the notification system showed that the Fang descendant was paying tribute to the player's fighting spirit and offered to accept him as an ally. Suho didn't realize if the Fang descendant was the wolf cub he had met earlier. Do I really have to accept him as an ally? The monster in front of them began to speak. Is he really a descendant? Has he absorbed the magic power of the Rakan Fang? Hearing this, Suho actually realized that this wolf had absorbed the power of the sword. It turns out that Rakan Fang sacrificed himself to save his pup. Suho had been trying to cooperate with the Fang from the beginning. After looking at the system notification, he decided that there was no reason to refuse and accepted the invitation, taking the Fang descendant as an ally. The notification system showed a new window. Data synchronization was now underway. Suho began to notice that something was entering his head. He began to see strange memories of his opponent sitting in a cave near a small wolf cub and saying that they would confront the monarch. After all, in this world, it is survival of the fittest, and we will lose a lot if we lose. We will surely become stronger for the future of the Fangs. Bringing his hand up to the wolf cub, he began stroking its head. A little while later, some strange creatures came to their cave, causing the little wolf cub to start shaking with fear. Young Fang began to ask those creatures why they wouldn't destroy him right here and now. The creature in front of him said that he thought this demonic beast was quite useful and had some good abilities. Touching him, the creature transferred some of its power and said it was choosing him now. Brocky's hyena is to collect people alive and deliver them to us. This power will help him get rid of unnecessary problems. Of course, depending on how he uses it, most likely, this power would be contrary to his desires. At this moment, Suho began to realize that these were the memories of a Fang descendant. These beings who put something in his head are the main instigators who are directly related to Itaram. The Fang descendant didn't want to take revenge on Brocky. He wanted to stop and enrage Brocky. If it had anything to do with their plot, it was necessary to defeat Brocky right here and now. But right now, Suho realized that he didn't have enough strength to defeat him. At this moment, the notification system began to show that an additional quest had opened with the appearance of a companion. The quest information was Monarch's Descendants Quest. He must find the descendants of the monarch and make them his allies. The descendants of the monarch becoming allies is one of 8 due to the proximity with Fang's descendants. The bonding skill is formed. At this moment, the huge blue aura began to glow brightly, and Suho realized that something was happening here. Baru noticed that the young monarch was undergoing a change, not the same as the monarch. Brocky, seeing this, couldn't understand what it was. Flying towards Suho with all his speed, he swung, determined to stop everything right here and now. As soon as he swung, he struck with all his strength, causing everything in the vicinity to start collapsing. But the notification system began to show Suho that a skill was being created. Due to the connection with the Fang descendant, right now, he had linked his strength together with the Fang's strength. This bonding skill is a level 1 beast transformation, consuming 1 mana per second. The Fang descendant is instilled into his body, strengthening his body and developing beast-like senses. Suho couldn't realize if he had absorbed the descendant. This time his body became light and very strong. He felt his senses sharpened. Everything became so unfamiliar and incomprehensible. It helped him move better, avoiding dangers. As soon as he dodged all the attacks, he kicked the monster with all his strength. The monster couldn't understand where he got such strength from and why he was losing right now. After all, if you look closely, this is the same kid who fought him a few minutes ago. He can't lose to some person right now. After all, he had spent a lot of effort to achieve and obtain the power he has. Baru, who was watching the battle, realized that the magical power had now jumped up a lot. The beast began to shout that he had no idea what kind of trick he was using, but there was no way he would lose to a human. After all, strength defines the difference between species. He should blame himself for being an inferior being called a human. At this moment, Suho began to use a skill and learn the skill of hand-to-hand combat. Baru, who was nearby, was angered that this beast was discussing the difference between species in the presence of a young monarch. After all, there's no one higher than a Shadow Monarch, and that means he's wrong. He's about to be finished now. As soon as the beast heard these words, it couldn't realize if this kid was really a Shadow Monarch. At that moment, Suho jumped back and delivered a perfect and precise punch, which knocked his opponent into the ground. He still did not die and only continued to say that he had to become stronger. That's all he was interested in, just getting stronger. At last, he saw the silhouette of his master, Rakan. He was angry at himself for not being able to protect him. The little wolf said goodbye to his old friend with a heartfelt howl.
Feel like I should, feel like I should, feel like I should, feel like I should go. Go. Feel like I should go. Feel like I should, feel like I should, feel like I should, feel like I should go.